Hey, Soul Circle. How are you today? Thank you again. As I say all the time, like I can never say enough. Thank you for, chilling out with me. Please pull up a chair. Let's talk. We got a lot to talk about always. In the hour that we spend together, like we have a lot to talk about. And today is no different. So thank you for hanging out with me, your girl, Desiree, on That's My Song, www.lifeenhancementradio.com. And so remember, for all the past shows, and I cover lots of stuff from female MCs to the beef with, just like hip hop beef, right? And I mean, it just covers everything. Mother's Day, of course, coming up in June is Father's Day. Like, it's just so much stuff that we have to talk, and it doesn't stop here. But we're going to, we have a discussion today, and today is about Memorial Day. Yes, Memorial Day. And so what's the meaning of Memorial Day? And so I know for me, in doing my research, I'm kind of like, okay, so, what is the meaning of Memorial Day? I know I had some great clarification because I was one of those people that confuse Memorial Day with Veterans Day, and it certainly shouldn't be like that. I now know the difference, and I want to share that with you, my Soul Circle friends, right? Many of you probably already knew, and some of you probably were like me, confusing the two. So what I learned from some information that was shared by others is that with Memorial Day, that is for soldiers that fought in the military for the U.S., but they are fallen soldiers. They're no longer with us. So you have to place their flowers on their tomb site, on their burial site. And then Veterans Day are for those that fight for the U.S., just as valiantly as anyone else. But they're still here to receive their flowers, right? You can still give them their flowers and tell them how much you appreciate their fight. I see it as, for freedom, many different freedoms, although there were, like something I always say, when you're in the military, and the history of the military is the fight against adversities, despite adversities, right? So there are lots of adversities that kind of overshadow the celebration, and the celebration of you, be that woman, race, but today we know that it's that our military personnel, our military persons, they fight, and they fight strong, and they are women, they are men, they are all various races, but the bottom line is the fight in order to preserve the freedoms that were given in the U.S., right? So again, it's fighting adversity despite adversities. That's how I see military personnel. But we're going to talk about Memorial Day. Memorial Day has many trains of thoughts, and I just came across a train of thought and something that I know I have to put my research into it, to find out exactly, where I stand in terms of, the history of Memorial Day. I always like to know the history of certain things, right? We know the history of a birthday is the day you were born, right? And so I feel like for any holiday or holy day or day that you recognize and that's special, you need to know that history. It can't just be a day and you hold this day up and you don't know why. Yes, you can enjoy the day off, because I know I did, but you definitely need to know the history and know what side you come down on. So Soul Circle friends, I know you know that the military history is so colored by the blurry history of the U.S., right? So the blurry history of the U.S., and that history is so blurry, so blurry, for be it gender, be it race. It's very blurred in that sometimes history is brushed underneath a carpet. History, because it does not, it doesn't show what the those in authority want it to show. So they'll sweep it underneath the rug, and then, history then becomes blurry and you're not even quite sure what happened. So Memorial Day for me is one of those days. And so we know that with Memorial Day, that's the last Monday of May of each year that, all communities gather to memorialize those soldiers who died while in service to the U.S. So a big thing is where wreaths are laid at the Tomb of the Unknown at the Arlington National Cemetery outside of D.C. So that is part of the whole Memorial Day. That is certainly something that needs to be acknowledged, right? So the Tomb of the Unknown. So, some people fought and we don't know who that person is. Maybe they just are not recognizable. And then there are others that have passed away. They have transcended in their fight. We do know who they are. There are other people that, what they did has been swept under the rug. And that goes to race and gender. And so Memorial Day is to remember, all of those people. So a little bit of history, one train of thought. Memorial Day may officially date back to 1868 ceremony in Decatur, Illinois, when Major General John Logan of the Grand Army of the Republic adorned the graves of the Union fighters that had transcended with flowers. But in recent years, and with researching history and history now being available and accessible to all, that whole history of Memorial Day sparks a very, very, very lively debate. Right? A very lively debate amongst the soul circle, amongst people outside of the soul circle. Like, it does spark a very lively debate. And that there's another train of thought that says that this holiday is rooted in a moving ceremony that was held by free slaves from May 1865. And this ceremony is believed to have included a parade of as many as 10,000 people singing the Union marching song, John Brown's Body, while carrying flowers to commemorate Charleston's Black community and their tribute to those who died for freedom of the U.S. And, bodies and Blacks were exhumed from a mass burial, and they were given a proper burial. It wasn't just, bodies thrown into a burial site. They were exhumed, taken out, and given the proper burial. And it was known to protect the site of the martyrs of the race course, race as in RACE course. So, those are two different trains of thoughts. There are some that think that it was born solely out of remembrance of those who died while in the military. And then there's another train of thought that says that Memorial Day was actually started by freed Black slaves to commemorate those persons that fought for freedom of Blacks, freedom of the U.S., freedom while in the U.S., just freedom. So that is certainly a lively debate. And that is something I just came across. Like, I just came across this train of thought, and it deserves my attention. And it deserves your attention, Soul Circle, to find out exactly, what's up. So I want everybody in the Soul Circle, please join me in, just researching, because you might come down on it is for the military people, our fallen soldiers, right? And you might come down history after you read it and analyze all different canals of history. You might come down on, okay, well, no, this is a parade of Black people, and we are celebrating exhuming these bodies that were fallen soldiers and fallen persons in this fight for freedom, and giving them their proper burial, right? So, I'll come back with that later after I get a chance to really get into it and really learn about that part of Memorial Day. But I certainly do, it is something that raises thoughts for me, because I have several family members that are in the military. And so Memorial Day certainly is for fallen soldiers. And then you have like the Red Tails. You have those who are the Buffalo Soldiers. People that really will never get their just due. I mean, of course, the Red Tails, there's a movie done about them, but just that whole just due of you fought and nobody wanted to acknowledge that you fought, fought just like everyone else. So, do your research, please, please, please. Let me know, what you find and, what you think in terms of, where you might lay on both of them. Like Memorial Day is rooted in both trains of thought, and that's okay. But definitely do your research. I like to do my research. I love doing my research. I think that is so important. So do your research, and then you can decide exactly where you stand. But for this Memorial Day podcast, we're going to pretty much sit in silence for this one and listen to songs and memories, songs that memorialize our lost loved ones in the military and just our lost loved ones. So Memorial Day, everyone has memories of somebody that they love, and it is for you to memorialize this person. That's what you have of this person. You no longer have their physical being. And so it is up to you to memorialize them and, hold on to their memories. And, today is the day to celebrate that memory. So you have your fallen soldiers. Think about that. Those who have fallen in the midst of their military practices. And then you have that whole nother train of thought where it was freed black slaves and, the people that were fighting for freedom. They were thrown into this mass burial site, but they were finally given a proper burial where, flowers were laid. And so that is where Memorial Day started. But you make the decision. Soul Circle, like, you make the decision. That's why we're here to link up. I'm not going to make a decision for you. You make the decision. But for this Memorial Day, definitely going to be, our memories. We're going to relax, get some tea, get whatever your libation is, and we're going to kind of sit in silence until the end, right? Just remembering those people that we love that have passed on. And whatever you find Memorial Day is rooted in, make sure you know what that history is and you have no problems with that. So, we're just going to go back to back with different, different things stemming from, like, I'm going to go back to the old school in terms of with the military, the Andrews Sisters with the Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy, right? And so we're going to come all the way to today with Wiz Khalifa, When I See You Again, because that's, a lost loved one, with Memorial Day and memories of that person. So thank you for chilling out with me. We'll close it out as we generally do, but we're going to sit in silence and really, look at these memories, hold on to these memories that we have, of persons that we love.